In this video we will be looking at the difference between iPhone 13 Pro and iPhone 14. If you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't be left out from great and informative video like these ones. The iPhone 14 is the flagship model of Apple's newest smartphone series. It would be useful to compare the phone to last year's flagship, the iPhone 13 Pro, given the unavoidable upgrades that have been made. Despite being separated by a year and a significant amount of money, these two phones have some surprisingly comparable features. But has Apple made any progress with its entry-level iPhone 14? Or would it be wiser to just get a discounted iPhone 13 Pro? The iPhone 14's features are compared to those of last year's Pro model, even though we aren't yet ready to give it a final judgment. Design-wise, the iPhone 14 is quite similar to the iPhone 13 from the previous year. Apple isn't trying to invent the wheel here, that much is evident. It shares the same flat glass front and back as the iPhone 13 and iPhone 12 families, as well as the same flat metal rim. Even the same hefty display notch from the iPhone 14 Pro is present. In terms of design difference, more particular, the iPhone 13 Pro's design and this one are strikingly similar. The iPhone 13 Pro measures 146.7 by 71.5 by 7.7 millimeters and the iPhone 14 just adds 0.1 millimeters to the thickness, giving the two phones similar sizes and proportions. The iPhone 13 Pro's rim was made out of more upscale and durable stainless steel, which is the main difference in this case. Due to this, the iPhone 13 Pro weighs 204 g more than the iPhone 14, which weighs 172 g. Additionally, the iPhone 13 Pro has a more noticeable camera module with 3 lenses as opposed to the iPhone 14's 2. In terms of display difference, for purposes of display, both of these phones feature 6.1-inch OLED screens with a resolution of 1170 by 2532. Although they are fairly similar, they are not the same. The refresh rate is where there are the most differences between these two models, with the iPhone 14 remaining with 60 Hz and the iPhone 13 Pro fully adopting Apple's 120 Hz ProMotion standard. When browsing over web information and images, you'll notice that it's literally twice as smooth. In high brightness mode, the iPhone 13 Pro also grows brighter by 1000 nits, HPM. The iPhone 14 can only achieve 800 nits, in contrast. In some conditions, both can reach a peak brightness of 1200 nits. In terms of camera difference, because the iPhone 14 unit appears to borrow somewhat from the iPhone 13, and quite a bit from the iPhone 13 Pro, we have a very solid notion of how these two camera systems will compare. Apple replaces the triple 12-megapixel camera system on the iPhone 13 Pro with a dual camera system in the iPhone 14. The primary sensor, though, seems to be very similar. They have the same size and have the same number of pixels, as shown by their shared pixel size of 1.9 m. Both make use of the sensor shift stabilization mechanism borrowed from the iPhone 12 Pro Max, so we can anticipate equally excellent low-light images from both. Another thing that unites these two devices is that they both utilize the exact same A15 Bionic chip, which has the same capacity for image processing. This is important because image processing is a large part of Apple's camera mastery. Apple has saved its new photonic engine for the iPhone 14 though, because Apple. It is possible that the iPhone 14 will actually surpass the iPhone 13 Pro in low-light conditions because to its hardware-software hybrid architecture, which uses deep fusion early in the photographic process and improves low-light performance across both iPhone 14 cameras by at least 2 times. Having a dedicated 3x telephoto camera on the older, more expensive iPhone 13 Pro allows it to take much more detailed zoomed images than the iPhone 14, which must rely on cropping. The front camera, however, is one area where the iPhone 14 appears to outperform its elder Pro brother. The iPhone 14 has a wider f/1.9 aperture, compared to f/2.2 in the iPhone 13 Pro, as well as a genuine focusing mechanism in place of the Pro's fixed focus, despite the fact that both cameras are 12-megapixel models. Expect improved group pictures in low light as well as improved focusing and performance. In terms of performance difference, both phones use the exact same A15 Bionic chip, as we just discussed in the camera section. Since the iPhone 13 Pro's A15 processor has a 5-core GPU instead of the iPhone 13's 4-core GPU, this essentially amounts to a little upgrade with the iPhone 14. But that doesn't mean that the performance of these two phones will be the same. The iPhone 14 is said to employ slower LPDDR4X memory in comparison to the iPhone 13 Pro's faster LPDDR5 memory, even though both devices may purportedly have 6GB Apple RAM. We'll need to confirm that closer to launch. The possibility of 1TB of internal storage, compared to the iPhone 14's 512GB, is another remaining spec advantage for the iPhone 13 Pro. Overall, the two gadgets are probably going to operate rather similarly. We believe that the old Pro will still have just a little bit of an edge. For the battery difference, we'll have to wait a little longer to learn the exact battery capacity of the iPhone 14 since Apple never verifies such details. According to speculations, it has a 3,279 mAh battery, making it just slightly bigger than the iPhone 13 before it. More importantly, for the purposes of this comparison, this increases the capacity of the iPhone 14 battery beyond that of the 3,095 mAh iPhone 13 Pro. This does not imply that the battery life of the iPhone 14 will be superior to that of the iPhone 13 Pro. The latter may have a display that updates twice as quickly, but it can scale down to 10 Hz when necessary, actually using less power. The iPhone 14's larger battery appears to be supported by the fact that, as previously said, it is slightly thicker than the iPhone 13 Pro, in terms of which is more proffered to be bought. The biggest letdown in this year's lineup appears to be the iPhone 14. It shares a lot of similarities with the iPhone 13 that came before it, and it lacks the usual substantial performance improvement. Due to its superior display, better performance, and more versatile camera, the iPhone 13 Pro continues to be the best gadget overall. The iPhone 13 Pro, on the other hand, lacks a few additional camera features that the iPhone 14 has access to, while having hardware that is comparable to or even better. There won't be any brand new iPhone 13 Pro phones on sale after the release of the iPhone 14 Pro because Apple hardware is known for maintaining its price. However, there's a good possibility you'll be able to get a good deal, which could lessen the benefit of the iPhone 14's cheaper price.
Thank you for watching. If this video added value to you, kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell for more videos of value. ShopBy Online Mall, trusted online store for easy shopping.